Game 79 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they host the Montreal Canadiens here tonight. Only a couple of games remain in the regular season before we get to Stanley Cup playoffs, starting what should probably be this time next week. So getting closer and closer. Still yet to lock up the Atlantic Division. First place there. And this game tonight actually kind of matters for the Montreal Canadiens. They lost last night to the Ottawa Senators. They're coming in here on a back-to-back, fighting to hold on to the playoff spot, fighting to try to catch up to the Ottawa Senators, which seems a little less likely given the loss that they had last night to Ottawa. But regardless, you know the Montreal Canadiens are going to come out ready to play here tonight. How are the Toronto Maple Leafs going to stand up to the test? Feels like a Saturday night at home. Typically with this group, it's felt like they've gotten off to some sleepy starts, but we'll break down tonight's lineup, our best bet, how we view this game potentially going here tonight. It's all a presentation of Bet365. Let's get into it right away here. Let's start over by checking out what we've got for our forward lines over on Daily Faceoff. So checking out first line is going to stick together. We're going to get Nyes, Matthews, and Marner. Down to our second line, Järnkrok, Tavares, and Nylander. This is the small change that we did see over the last little bit here where Berube moving guys around. I had talked about how much I like Bobby McMann on that line. I think he deserves a spot in the top six, but I mean, if you're McMahon, it's a positive for the Maple Leafs. It's a negative for Bobby McMahon because, you know, you're getting an opportunity to play top six. You're getting to play with JT and Nylander, and your line had been rolling. They were clicking at a high rate. But now Berube needs some other lines to get going. He needs to kind of find some spots. Well, McMahon is going to get pulled off of that top six role, out of that second line left wing role, now to jump down to the third line alongside Domi and Nick Robertson to try to help them get going. We did see periods of time this season where they've built up some chemistry. So you put them back together, see if you can get that line clicking here ahead of the playoffs. Maybe they get that chemistry back that they had kind of coming out of the Four Nations break there where we were looking going, wow, our depth is unbelievable. Well, it's kind of like withered away a little bit. It's been Lorentz and Domi in the bottom six really that we've looked at and said, hey, those are the two biggest performers. So what are we going to try to do? Shake things up. Bobby McMahon jumped down to the third line left wing with Domi, with Robertson. That pushes Scott Laughton to your 4C, automatically upgrading your 4C spot, moving Pontus Holmberg over to the left side there, and then you move Steven Lorentz over to the right. And Lorentz kind of can fit into any of those, left, right, doesn't really matter. He's going to be fine. He's a responsible guy, a guy that you are able to trust really this year, has a lot of energy, brings a lot of passion to the game every single night, every time he steps out on the ice. So that's kind of how you're going to get the lineup shaking out here tonight. I don't want to look too much into the moves, and part of the reason why is Calle Järnkrok jumping up onto the second line left wing there. Top six spot for him. It's somewhere we've seen him kind of jump to, or thrown into a little bit with Berube since coming back from injury, where Berube spotted him in alongside those guys to try to maneuver other pieces and get other guys going. I think he's fine there. I think realistically, if you get to the playoffs, A, Max Pacioretty is going to be coming back and rejoining this group. B, David Kampf is an option to join this group. And C, if you get Max Pacioretty back, I don't foresee him taking like Pontus Holmberg's role on the fourth line left wing. He feels like a guy that fits up into your top six. So if he goes up there, he plays with Tavares, he plays with Nylander, then that means that you're going to get other guys shaking out throughout the lineup. You probably keep that third line if they stay kind of rolling like they had out of the Four Nations break. And then you go down to your fourth line. It's probably a guy like Pontus Holmberg who comes out. You slide Lorentz to the left side and Pacioretty to the right, or Pacioretty to the left and Lorentz stays on the right. Doesn't really matter, but that's kind of how I foresee those lines being moved. Järnkrok goes onto the fourth line right wing. Lorentz goes over to the left. If not, then you could put Pacioretty, is where I was trying to get to before my brain just shut off and went scrambled eggs on me there. But then you could go Järnkrok on the right side, Lorentz on the left. If not, then you have the option of Pacioretty down on your fourth line, and your fourth line is just better by virtue of adding Max Pacioretty. So I think they've got options here. This is probably the most confident I've been in the lineup top to bottom in terms of what they have with depth and where they can move guys around. It's a little bit different looking at a lineup like this than it has been in the past, where you've had like Nick Patan and Par Lindholm and Alex Kerfoot kind of riding around in pure Engvall in your bottom six. And it's like, well, what do you bring? Well, there's some versatility in here. There's different personalities, there's play styles, there's skill, there's speed, there's just physical presences, hard forecheckers. Like, there's some different stuff in there. Maybe it's not all at the peak of, what you could possibly have for your third and fourth lines, like how maybe some other teams might match up against you, but you do have a little bit of a different look than what you've had in years past with how the team is constructed right now. So those are your forward lines for tonight's game. And forward lines probably as we get into the next couple of games as well. I don't foresee David Kampf, Max Pacioretty coming back before the end of the regular season. I don't know if there's any need for David Kampf to jump back in. And then on the Max Pacioretty side, he's on LTIR. They don't have enough cap space. Wink, wink kind of situation. I'm just saying, throwing that one out there. Oh, he's looking good. We think he'll be back for game one. Oh, yeah, why is he not playing in the regular season? Oh, they don't have enough cap space. Come on. Anyways, those are your forward lines for tonight. Before we get ourselves into what we've got for tonight's defensive core, which is where the big stuff is going on right now and where we may see a little bit of movement from the forwards, and I'll get into all that when we get to the D. But just a quick reminder here, it's playoff season, and the Leafs Nation 401 right here on YouTube. The Leafs Nation is your ultimate destination for live updates, expert analysis, and everything you need to know about the action on and off the ice. Make sure to follow us on social media. Hit up TheLeafsNation.com, and don't miss out on our exclusive content on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And hey, if you're ready to rep the team in style, check out our new fresh playoff merch at nationgear.ca. I have been wearing the playoff merch pretty much every single day since we've got it. Today's like the rare day that I don't. That is also because I'm going to throw on a hoodie and I'm going to put on my Leafs jersey and go to the Leafs game tonight. So I'm not wearing that right now, but something I've pretty much worn every single day otherwise. I mean, I've worn 5 days in a row, just like Nick, I think, on the morning show. It's very comfortable. It looks good. Make sure to head on over to nationgear.ca. Let's check out now our defense, and this is where the big news happens. Checking out down here, Morgan Rielly, Brendan Carlo remain together. And yes, if you're looking at the screen right now on Daily Faceoff or right here on this video, you'll notice there's only 5. Jake McCabe, not going to play tonight, will not play tomorrow against Carolina. Craig Berube did say he will return before the end of the regular season. Well, just by breaking this one down and process of elimination, there's only 2 games remaining after tomorrow's game. So he's going to either play on Tuesday or Thursday. It's pretty easy to tell. I assume he probably plays in both, but not going to play this weekend. OEL day-to-day will not play today. Do not believe he will play tomorrow either. I'm going to imagine they're going to do an emergency recall for tomorrow. For those wondering why they don't do it for today, you have to play one game, at least one game shorthanded before you can use your emergency recall. So they can't activate Yanni Hakanpää off of LTIR because they don't have enough cap space. They cannot just normally call up somebody from the Marlies because they do not have enough cap space. And you cannot emergency recall someone from the Marlies right now because you have not played a game shorthanded. They've had 6 defensemen in every game over the last little while. They've had 12 forwards in every game over the last little while. So once you miss one game shorthanded, then you can do an emergency recall, which is what I imagine they'll do tomorrow. I do wonder here if OEL is just kind of going through some maintenance and they look at it and they say, hey, you know what? It's fine. Get out. You're okay. You're not like hurt or you're not injured. Maybe you're hurt. Maybe you got a little bang up here. Maybe you got some nicks and some bruises. Sit out. Take the weekend to rest. You come back Tuesday, come back Thursday, come back one of the games. I don't really care. But they start this process today. They go 5D against Montreal. It allows you to bring up the emergency call-up tomorrow in Carolina. You're at home in Toronto. The emergency call-ups, playing with the Marlies. He can fly with you. Like, all of these things kind of sort themselves out where it's like, okay, maybe this is just like we're going to give some guys a break. We've screwed ourselves a little bit, or not screwed ourselves, but we're in a tight situation cap-wise. This is the best way around it. So that's what you got for your defense tonight. The one thing I want to point out, I would not be surprised if at some point here, whether from minutes played, exhaustion, or just generally needing help, we see Calle Jarnkrok and or Mitch Marner playing defense at some point. They have both played defense in the preseason, dating back to 2022, I believe it was, is the year that they gave them the shot. Look, Mitch plays defense technically on the power play. Not really the biggest fan of it, but if you need somebody to go back there, those two could. We have seen them moved there. Calle Jarnkrok is known as this Swiss Army knife. And then the other thing would be Scott Laughton volunteered to play D if need be. Instead, he could play the left side, which would help you out because Marner and Jarnkrok right-handed shots. Scott Laughton left-handed shot. If he goes in there and he can play left side D in your bottom six pair or your bottom pair and finish out the 5-6 and play alongside Philippe Myers, I mean, I'm not going to be mad. It's Scott Laughton is trying to find a way to make an impact on the game and help this team out. And, to this point, it's been relatively underwhelming. Maybe tonight he does so on defense. Power play units, quickly. What we've got for the first unit is going to see Knies, Tavares, Nylander, Marner, and Matthews. Again, the 5-forward unit. Your second unit, one small change here. So Calle Jarnkrok fills in. Nick Robertson goes back to the defense position, taking over where OEL was. Otherwise, it's the same. McMahon, Domi, and Riley are the other three. And then that's Jarnkrok and Robertson to close things out. So those are your forward and defense lines for tonight's game. If we're looking over at goaltending, now what I expect to happen, I think it's Jakob Dobish. I say it wrong every time. Dobish. You get where I'm going here. Apologies to Jakob. He's confirmed for Montreal. Stolarz looks like he will go here for the Maple Leafs tonight. I believe he was first off the ice or was in the starter's net at morning skate here today as well, doing his normal game day routine. So that's the goaltending matchup. I think yet again this leans more towards Anthony Stolarz as the guy that the coaching staff is looking at and preferring as their game one starter. There's 2 games left. Feels like Stolarz is going to be the one to get the tap. Play tonight, Wall play tomorrow, possibly give Stolarz the Tuesday game, maybe Tuesday, Thursday, maybe you go Wall Tuesday, Stolarz Thursday, so that it's not as far in between games. I don't know how they want to rotate this, but I'm thinking it's going to be Anthony Stolarz who's going to be your game one starter there. Those are your goaltending matchups. Let's close this thing out with our best bet, which, we've lost the last couple, but we have been pretty hot. We did win the one against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which felt like the easiest bet of all time with Matthew Knies. So let's get to tonight's best bet. Let's change the fortunes of, I think we're 1-3 or something in our last 4 is pretty sure is where we're at right now. So let's get a winner here tonight. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. An official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. If you, or Ontario only, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. So, on the season, what we're at right now, a profit of $909, 9.09 unit profit on this season. We are 2-2 in the last 4 games is what it is. We are 2-3 in the last 5. So, a little bit below 500 there, but we won the Matthew Knies anytime goal against Tampa. We won the John Tavares over 2.5 shots on goal against Florida not too long ago. So we've got some wins in there. We've got some bigger ones, and we're going to take another swing here tonight. We're going to go back to old reliable, the bet that won for us the other night. So taking a look over at Bet365, go to the player props section in the Leafs Habs game here tonight. This one's simple for me. I looked down, I saw the best number in market across every sports book, and I thought, why not again? Why not us? Matthew Knies, anytime goal, plus 280 is going to be tonight's best bet. A half unit on Matthew Knies, anytime goal will profit you 140. Look, this one is simple. The guy has been hot. You can tell he's heating up for the playoffs here. You can tell that he is just the type of guy to drag Matthews and Marner into the fight, be the guy to push and carry you over the top. He's on power play 1. He's on line 1. You're down a goal. He's on the ice. You've got an empty net. He's on the ice. Matthew Knies gets opportunities. He's a big game player. He's a clutch player. Matthew Knies has been unbelievable this season. Coming off an awesome game against the Lightning, I think he carries on and does it again here tonight. Plus 280. $50 on Matthew Knies profits you 140. That's all for today's pregame video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Quick note, I will be live following tonight's game against the Montreal Canadiens right here on this channel, Leafs Nation 401. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications so you don't miss the show. But I just want to give a heads up. I will be going to the game here tonight. Was lucky enough to get some tickets to the Leafs-Habs game, so I will be going. The show will start a little bit later than usual. I'm going to try to get out of there as quick as possible, get back here to my computer, sit down. Everything will be scheduled and set up so you guys can comment away. Don't worry about it. But I'll be back a little bit late, and we'll start the show. Apologies for that. Hope you can understand. Only the first time this year that's happened. So thank you guys for following along, for watching. Drop your comments, your predictions below. Look forward to seeing everyone tonight. Until the postgame show, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, postgame live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.